Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2013 Chevrolet Summit Racing Pro Stock Camaro. So this now has 1,806 horsepower, 1,047 pounds-feet of torque from an 8.2 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,534 pounds, has off-road tyres and all-wheel drive, but unfortunately because it is a drag car we can't put off-road suspension on it. But I've always said on this series, as long as a car can meet two of the three criteria, which is off-road tyres, off-road suspension and all-wheel drive, which this does, then it can go on this series. And yeah, it can do 0 to 60 in 2.797 seconds, 0 to 104.344 seconds, and go to a top speed of 283 miles an hour, which is, despite it still having, also now having the off-road tyres, which is, yeah, only 2 miles an hour slower than what we got it on How Fast Will It Go, which is, yeah, was a massively impressive speed. In fact, this car is still in 11th place on that series. Not sure this is going to quite manage that here, because even though it does have the launch and acceleration and speed, the braking isn't particularly great, especially for a car that has all of this power. The off-road capability, as you can see, is on the very low side. It's probably the worst off-road capability stat that we've had on this series so far. And the handling is pretty woeful as well, even worse than the 3.9 suggests there, because being a drag car, it has very limited steering, because you don't want too much steering, because otherwise you'd overcorrect and then you'd slam into a wall. So where you want very minimal steering just to keep the car on the straight and narrow, and that's basically all it's got. So yeah, this could either be the best or the worst car that we have ever had on this series, because yes, it has that massive amounts of acceleration and speed, but will it really be able to deal with the off-road bits and also get around the trickier corner parts? We'll have to see. So yeah, gonna be interesting though, that's for sure. There's that massive launch. Easily the fastest we've gone on that first section, I imagine. Yeah, this is very tricky. It's got a completely flat bottom as well on it, so yeah, just manage that, which I imagine is not going to help. Massive bursts of speed and then we'll suddenly slow down again. The speed is and the acceleration in general is certainly something that's going to help this car overcome any of the other flaws. Skin of our teeth, got another checkpoint in there. Gonna have to use the dab of the handbrake because we do not have the steering. It's probably not helped by the fact it's now got all-wheel drive, but quite frankly, that's one of the criteria for this series, so you had to have that. Oh my lord! Yeah, we were not stopping the car there. Because this car is so unusual and so flawed, I am going to have unlimited rewinds for this car, just because it's not going to be the easiest of things. So I think the first time we've ever failed to land and come up in time for the checkpoint after that jump, for sure. It's not even because we were going, overly quick. We were going quite quick, but probably the quickest that we've ever had a car on that jump. But it's also because it's a very aerodynamic car, so it will just fly through the air, and with a completely flat bottom, it's not going to have any aerodynamic issues to fly as far as it wants, really. Not staying on the course very well here, but as long as we're getting the checkpoints, that's all that matters. There are obviously much trickier parts coming up soon. Quite frankly, I expected this to be way worse. I may well have jinxed myself there by saying that, but to be honest, yeah, I really was expecting it to be worse. 170 there, that is nuts. I don't think we've ever had a car get up to that rate of speed down that part. crash through the barrier there either in another car, but this is, like I said, a very unusual one that is certainly not meant for dealing with this kind of stuff. If any car is well out of its comfort zone, it is this one. This is literally just meant for a very flat, very straight tarmac, and that is it. At least the hypercars and the supercars and whatnot are meant to go around corners, whereas this, yeah, isn't really meant to go around corners any more than 10 or 20 mile an hour, quite frankly. And that's purely just to get it to the drag bit. But still, we are far from the slowest car that we've had on this series, but we're not the quickest either. We actually are slower than the Dodge Challenger from the previous episode at 3 minutes 20.884. But quite frankly, given everything that this car had going against it, I really was expecting it to be far worse than that. So, yeah, and the fact is it's beaten some very more capable off-road vehicles, for instance, at the time that we have gotten there. So, yeah, we are quicker than the likes of an Illumicraft Class 1 buggy, which is certainly meant for going off-road, as well as a Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 3, Cupra Fermenta VZ5, Nissan Safari Z370Z, Rivian R1S, Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, Celine Sport Truck, a Lancia Delta HF Integral Evo, and even the likes of a GMC Cyclone, the Typhoon version of that as well, and a Jimco Hammerhead Class 1. So yeah, quicker than some serious off-road competition there. And yeah, but we are also slower than some other cars that certainly don't have the power of this. And for instance, the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat is just ahead of us, as well as a 1962 Lincoln Continental, Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato Coupe, the Rivian R1T, and a Volkswagen Santana. So yeah, but like I said, again, considering everything it had going against it, this could have been far, far worse, because yeah, it doesn't have handling, it doesn't have any real off-road capability, it doesn't have much in the way of control, and yeah, but the sheer acceleration and speed that this could get up to at an instant really did help it there, because yeah, anytime we could get on the accelerator, just even for 5 seconds or so, yeah, we were up to a good rate of speed, 130, 140 mile an hour in no time at all. So yeah, that really helped, but the rest of the car certainly did not. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching. You can get this car in the current Festival players for only 20 points. It is a car that we have had before, but it has returned for the current Festival players. So if you didn't get it before, now you use a chance to get it. We'll try and get it this time round, and I do highly recommend getting it, because it is an insanely fun car to drive in a straight line, just not quite as fun anywhere else. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.